Hello, Stephen King here again. How have you been? Okay, last we ended with me talking about or sharing my experiences on getting out of the comfort zone and starting the boot camp and talking to people at different places and talking to that one lady, Linda, in the grocery store and her signing up with her three cousins and we doing a wonderful 6, 7 month program with them 3 times a week. Wonderful stuff, wonderful stuff. So, with that boot camp, my twin sister was going to get married. So, she's decided I got to look good in my wedding dress and look good in my marriage. She decides to join the boot camp. And I'm so ecstatic because I'm helping my sister get ready for her big day. And this is just wonderful, right? When you do something for people and then you wind up helping a loved one, family member, it's just the most wonderful feeling. So my sister's in the boot camp. She getting in shape. I can see her body changing, morphing, getting tighter, getting smaller, and it's just glorious, you see. There was one day when everyone went out to a point, walking, jogging, or running. We went out to a point and we made a U-turn and came back. And we were going back. And I was checking on different people. Then I decided at one point I wanted to catch up with my twin sister and run with her. And we ran, and it was so wonderful because she's the first one back and I was getting back with her. Well, she wound up having the wedding and a glorious affair. 12 days after the wedding, her husband shot her 10 times and killed her. Shot one of their three sons in the head twice and killed him. And then he turned the gun on himself and killed himself. As you can imagine, I was in shock. It's the most horrifying, unbelievable, shocking thing. Even talking about it now, it affects me. This was, I think, 17 years ago. Yes, this was 17 years ago. And it'll affect me until as long as I'm alive. So I know there's some of you out there that can identify with loss, any kind of loss, especially when it's traumatic like that. I could not tie my shoes for a week. I couldn't do anything. I had to take a week off from the boot camp. As you can imagine, this was just 6 months after leaving my job. And I did not know much about fitness, personal training, or self-employment. I did not know much. And at this time, I'm sitting here thinking, will I be able to keep going through this? I'm still learning. Like, I got so much more to learn with something this traumatic happening. I didn't know if I could make it. I didn't know if I could go back to it. I couldn't tie my shoes for a week. That's how, I couldn't do anything, okay? Incapable I was. I remember a neighbor telling me, Steve, come on down for breakfast. And she had made me a big breakfast. I couldn't even cook. I couldn't do anything. My God. So, man, oh man. During that week off, at some point I realized that I needed to get back moving again. Because sitting down still, even if nothing traumatic happened to you, you can fall into emotional despair. So I got back to the boot camp, and it was great because I was a part of a mission and intention to help women empower themselves. Fitness and wellness is empowering. And so I felt like I was doing the opposite of what happened to my sister. I was helping to uplift, encourage, inspire, motivate, empower women. And I think that's one of the things that helped me get through that period of such trauma. It was tough during birthdays. Our birthday's the same day. We would call each other in the morning and say, "Happy birthday, I love you." It was tough with the major holidays because most of my family lives in the area. So it was tough when 4th of July came, when Thanksgiving came, when Christmas came. For her to not be there, incredible, incredible. 9 months later, I meet my wife to be. I had suffered a grave loss of 2 loved ones, and then I meet this person that I eventually became to love. And so I had great loss, then I had an incredible gain. I was able to continue with the fitness at this time, with the loss and then with the gain. And I got to a point in 2 years of self-employment where I could not continue with the business. I wasn't giving it enough. So at the end of 2008, 2007, I was offered a job helping to run this gym at a federal government agency. It came at the perfect time because I was experiencing so much grief and sadness from the loss of my sister and nephew that I just was not giving it enough. I wasn't giving enough to my business. I just couldn't do it. So the job offer came at the perfect time. I gotta admit that. Yes, yes, yes. So at this point, I have a sweetheart that I met, and I'm still doing fitness, but I'm working this job. This lady and I, my wife and I, we got married in March of 2009. By December of that same year, we were separated, not living together anymore. And it was a shock to me because I'm thinking, I met this lady, we're gonna live together for the rest of our lives. There's no way that we can fail. Her parents love me, my parents love her. We just got this wonderful connection together. And then it did not work. It did not happen. Halfway through 2010, or maybe a little over, past the half of 2010, I fell into Great Depression. Really deep depression. I did not know how tough depression was. People talk about it from time to time, but I tell you, until you're in it, you never know. And at this time, I'm working this job and I'm doing fitness. And actually at the job, it was to help run a gym, as I mentioned, and I had personal training clients. And I was working with these clients and making extra money while working this job because I didn't make a lot of money on the job. I think it was only $36,000 in the Washington, D.C. area. That's not a lot of money. And so with the personal training, I added $15,000 to that. So that helped out tremendously. Yes, yes, yes. I'm married, but like I say, we didn't last long. The depression it was so heavy. I mean, it's like you're walking with 500-pound weight on your shoulders and head. Sunny days look like rain to you. It makes you feel terrible. I felt like I wasn't worth much, like I had no value to anybody or myself. Whenever I would talk to people, I would be thinking, I know they know I'm a loser. I know they know I'm worthless. I know they know I'm a loser. I know they know that I'm nothing. That's just what depression tells you. It tells you that you're worthless and useless. And I experienced situational depression because of the loss. Remember, things are going to happen to us in life, and I don't wish this happens to anyone, but things will happen to us, and it will beat us down, and it will knock us off our tracks. There's no guarantee that you can stay on course, but the important thing is that one day we get back to what we're meant to do in life. And so I'm knocked off course, feeling terrible in life. What can I do here? When I was depressed, I felt like a loser because I couldn't keep the self-employment going. I didn't succeed at the marriage. So those were two things that I felt like I failed at: self-employment and the marriage. And on top of that, losing 3 people that I loved. And so I didn't sleep well, I didn't eat well, I gained weight. Life was really miserable for me. I was in the depths of emotional despair. Eventually, the depression lifted with time. And when it lifted, I was so happy. I felt liberated. I felt light. The heaviness was gone. I could sleep at night. Yeah, such a relief. A year or two of heaviness now lifted. It was only about a week or two that I was able to sleep freely. This voice entered my head. Now, mind you, when I was depressed, the voice was telling me I was useless and worthless. Now this voice is telling me, Steve, you got more to do with your life than going to this job every day that's not fulfilling you. You got more to do with your life, man. You have to get out and you have to give it all you got. You got people out there to help. You got your life that needs more to it. You gotta get out there and give more, man. You can't just work for 30, 40 years at a job and that's it, man. You got bigger things in life to do. You got skills and talents that can't be challenged or utilized at a job. You gotta create your own path, and it's time for you to go back out and do it again. You did it before, so that means you have experience, Stephen. This is what this voice is telling me. I did it before, and I should be able to do it again. But I'm scared because it was 6 years ago. This is 2012 now, and it's 2006 is when I first did this. Where would I? But the voice is telling me, hey man, you need to live a fulfilling life. Now, I would go to sleep at night, and there's this voice that keeps telling me, you got more to do in life. I would lay down at like 11 or 12, fall asleep at 2, wake up at 5:30 to use the bathroom, get back in the bed with the expectation of sleeping until about 9. I'd have to be to work until 11. My shift was 11 to 7. And so I'm figuring I'll go back to bed until like 9 o'clock and wake up fresh, 5:30. Like I said, coming back from the bathroom, this voice comes again. Hey man, you got bigger things in life to do than sitting at this freaking job, buddy. You got a bigger life than this. Uh, can't you just let me just just be mediocre for like 6 months before I go back out there with that? I'm scared. I'm intimidated. I don't. Shucks. Let me just give me a little bit more time. But the voice said, "No, man. You've had time. You were depressed for a year and some change, and you had to quit the business for however long that was. It's time for you to get back out there." When did I quit the business? At the end of 2007. So I was working the job from 2008 through 2012. The voice said, "Hey man, 4 years and a couple of months, that's long enough. It's time for you to get back out there. I don't care if you just got out of depression." That's what this voice is telling me. Ah, man. Basically, my inner voice was telling me that I have to live a life that's flourishing, that's gratifying, that I need to reach for my potential. When I think about the voice telling me that there were people out there that I was going to help, I was wondering, how are our paths going to cross? Like, how's that going to happen? The voice said, it definitely won't happen if you sit down in this gym. So, everyone out there, listen to the inner voice. It's going to tell us what we should do. Outer voices, outer messages, yeah, we can listen to them. But what I found is that it's really that inner voice that's the right voice. And that's the voice that's really going to carry us in the right direction for us. The direction that's going to give us the most fulfillment in life, the most happiness, the most joy. And if we're the happiest and the most joyful, then we're more happy and more joyful for the people that love us. Follow that inner voice. Thank you for listening, and I'll be back soon. Take care.